Good evening, parents of the West Shore School District. So, let's discuss what happened today at the West Shore School District meeting in reference to Policy 109. So, almost immediately that I got off the podcast with Jonathan and Brandy and Denise, um, my phone went crazy with text messages and phone calls of parents wanting to know what the heck was that. So, what we're talking about is David Brinton's vote to allow the policy, the way that it was written, to pass. Kudos to the board members that said no and saw that there was need to revise this policy and review it even further. Um, but the last thing that the parents was expecting for Mr. Britton to do was to enable even more secrecy within the walls of the West Shore School District, and this is what I mean. This policy is enabling our current superintendent and the school librarians to select the materials that are going to enter the West Shore School District, and we, the parents, have an issue with that. Okay, and we have an issue with that because we have had issues with the current superintendent, Todd Stoltz, in the past and presently. We are not happy with his performance as an administrator, and we have requested for him to be put on probation. And if you saw the meeting today, you can see that the PSSA scores and all the other scores were low. I don't care which way they try to decorate it, it was pathetic. It was pathetic that we are in the position that we are as a district with our students and their education is lacking. They try to paint this in 101 different ways. They do it every year, and every year the scores, the grades, the average um, is worse and worse. Okay, like I've stated before, always shows us that we are the head leaders of the dummies. I hate putting it that way, but that's what it shows. But let's get back to the matter at hand here. So Mr. Brinton was a great disappointment today to the parents, and I'll explain why. When the meeting that they discussed policy 109, and I'm not sure who wrote it, whether it was him or who it was, the parents were a little tongue in cheek about this. And we got together and we addressed a letter to the school board. And here are all the signature of the parents, okay, that signed that petition that we submitted to the school board. And this is what our request was, okay? And it is a disappointment to see that as conservative parents, we are working to get transparency out of this administration, and to see one of our own, Mr. Brinton, throw the wrench in this when we're trying to hold our administrator accountable, our administration accountable, because through the years that we have been working together in reference to the hot mess that we have in the West Shore School District, we must all agree that there has been a lot of chicanery in this administration. A lot of chicanery. Okay, with the administration, the veteran school board members that are still on the board, and the veteran school board members that are no longer on the board. There's been a lot of chicanery. And we've been fighting for transparency. And for him to throw the wrench, well, the parents are right to be upset. And I'm not too happy either. Now, understand, I have never seen and never will see David Brinton as an enemy. I've always considered him a friend. I will still consider him a friend, but I just think that the cheese fell off his cracker. There's something not right when you're making decisions like you made tonight. So let me read to you the letter that we submitted to the school board directors, and we also included the solicitor. And this was submitted on the 16th of January. And here is what it says. The subject was requests for revisit to revision to Code 109 regarding delegation and responsibility for selection of materials. As concerned parents and taxpayers of the West Shore School District, we are writing to request a revision to Code 109, specifically addressing the delegation and responsibility for the selection of educational materials. The current Code 109 states delegation of responsibility, the legal responsibility for the purchase of all material rests with the district, but the responsibility for the selection of materials is delegated to the school librarians of the district, subject to the approval of the superintendent or designee. Responsibility for selection. The selection of materials is a collaborative, continuous process involving administrators, teachers, librarians, and students. While the ultimate legal responsibility for the purchase of material rests with the West Shore School Board, the major responsibility for selection of material has been delegated to the librarians in each school. We, the parents, appreciate the effort to involve various stakeholders in the selection of educational material. However, due to the growing mistrust towards the superintendent and some of the administrative staff, we believe it is necessary to enhance transparency and accountability in this process. Therefore, we respectfully request that a list of books and materials being considered for the purchase be made available to parents for a review period of 30 days. This will allow parents to review the selected material and discuss any concerns with the school board and administration before they are finalized. Given past instances of questionable book selections and the lack of transparency, we feel it is our right as taxpayers to have a say in the materials being introduced into our school libraries. We believe this additional step will foster a more inclusive and transparent decision making process, ensuring that the educational materials reflect the values and expectations of the community while still providing a diverse and comprehensive education for our students. Thank you for your attention to this matter. We look forward to your positive responses and open to further discussion to address these concerns. So I don't think that the parents were requesting anything um, ridiculous, egregious, silly. The parents were requesting um, to be given 30 days for the books and materials that they are considering to put into our libraries to be available online for the review of the parents and for the parents to be able to address concerns. And the reason for this is I will reiterate the story that many of you guys already know as to how I became involved in all this. And it was due to a misstep of Brian Geiswhite and Todd Stoltz, a collaborative effort. So we went to an open schoolhouse at Cedar Cliff High School with the boys, our boys. And we were walking to the building and we went into the library. Now, one of our boys thought that it was funny because they know how we feel about certain topics, okay, to show us a book that was in the library. There was a round table, okay, in the library, and there was all these LGBTQ books displayed. And I kind of like try to overlook it, but then one of the boys gave me the book called This Book is Gay and Gender Queer. So as I was thumbing through genderqueer, my jaw just dropped in knowing that these books, okay, were available in the school. Now, anybody who knows, me and my husband, you know that we got crazy work schedules. So we stated before, because it was more towards, I would say, middle of the year, but we said before the year ends, we have to make it to the board and we have to discuss this, which is what we did. So when we discussed this, Abigail Turney immediately, and I can find the clip, guys. I have the video clip. Started saying, "Oh, we cannot play with the books of the LGBTQ kids because that's how lawsuits are started." And she went into her ever loving rant. Um, Todd Stoltz stated that he would investigate because he's always investigating and he never gets to the core of anything, guys. And Brian Geiswhite was denying that these books were there. Why? Because at the time, Brian Geiswhite's wife, who is now a principal in one of the middle schools, um, was the head librarian and also the president of the LGBTQ club in the West Shore. So, of course, he's denying that this book was there, but the book was there. Okay, so long story short, um, Stoltz says that he's going to investigate, and he never did. And one of our conservative school board members at the time tried to go into the school, to the library, to find this herself, and she was confronted by Stoltz and stopped. Okay, and Todd Stoltz have a problem with accountability and insubordination, and it's not something new with the board members. Okay, um, within less than 24 hours after we spoke about this, he makes a public statement to the disreputable York Dispatch and Penn Lies, trying to portray me and my husband as liars. And we were labeled the extremist parents of Cumberland County. Okay. And everywhere that he would stop, he would slander our names and he would deny. Now, long story short, those books up to early this year were still in Cedar Cliff. They hid them. And the last time that I heard from various students that know us, okay, that book, those two books, because the classroom I think they still do. Some of the classroom had um little libraries, I guess, in their classes. Those books were hidden in Catherine Yo's classroom, and more than one child has confirmed that to me. But we don't have those kind of books here in the West Shore School District. And he went on the slandering campaign. Okay. Parents have spoken up at the West Shore School District wanting to see curriculums, and they are made to jump through hoops to see these curriculums. Okay. Their, their biggest reason not to allow you to see curriculums is copyright infringement, copyright. Well, it's our taxpayers' dollars who bought it, dude. We bought it, so that material belongs to us, and we have every right not only to see it, but to take a picture and make copies. We have that right as parents. But getting back to this administration, every level of this administration is tainted. Is tainted. Okay, we have an ineffective superintendent in that seat that he is not qualified for that. He has no people skills. He has no empathy. He is as lazy can get. And yeah, you'll have people defending him. Oh, he's such a great person. Yeah, because he's an advocate. Outside of being a superintendent, he's an advocate. And advocacy should be left outside of the doors of that school. He's an advocate. And he will be quick. Okay, he's the first one that will be quick to ban and to label anybody as a book banner. And we all know that book banning doesn't exist, because if you can go to the public library or you can go to Amazon, okay, to purchase these books, it's not banning. The disappointment is that we, the parents, okay, and like I stated, all these right here, all these are the signature. You hear that? The signature of all the parents opposed to this, requesting a 30-day review, put it online. But because they don't want the pushback, this board member that we trusted, that had the best interests of the parents and the best interests of the children, today decides to stab us in the back and to enable more secrecy in the West Shore School District. Then has the nerve when parents approach, well, you guys should speak up about it, show up in the meetings, email us, and all this other stuff. But the moment that we do it, this is not the first request that we have made to the board. It's like they take it, they make a paper airplane out of it, and they throw it out the window. And that's fine, but I'm going to tell you something right now. We, the parents, are not going to take this sitting down. We are not going to take this sitting down. We have put a lot of time and effort in fighting, okay, for transparency in the school. And if we're going to have members of the board, regardless on which side, left or right, um, try to silence us and try to enable this administration to continue to hide truth, to continue to have secrets, to continue to bring garbage into the West Shore School District, do not be surprised when the next lawsuit comes from the conservative parents. And let me tell you, we have been threatening for a while. And one of these days, when you guys least expect it, the threat's going to become a reality because it seems as though in order to get anything done in the West Shore School District, parents have to sue. Now, again, he made a comment one time, at what point do we trust the administration? And the answer to that, my dear friend, is never. How can you expect us to trust an administrator that has no problem gaslighting the community, whether it's he's gaslighting, whether it's about the school board members, and we see him do it, whether it's about the parents, whether it's about a child, okay, has no accountability, is pinning administrative staff against the school board and against families, is an advocate for all the wrong things. And that's one thing. This administrator cannot be trusted because he will allow the garbage in. He will allow the garbage in because he's part of the problem when we are trying to be part of the solution. And the people that we voted in because we believe that they were part of the solution and not enabling the problem further. Then we have the issue of it being also the librarians. Now, I'm not saying that all the librarians are bad, but I'm saying that we have had our share conflict with bad librarians in the West Shore School District that will allow this garbage in and hide it. And we need to get also the American Library Association out of our schools because they are also enablers. We have to get Scholastic out of our schools because Scholastic is not the Scholastic when we grew up as kids. No, Scholastic is also woke and full of garbage and full of mess. So we are requesting transparency and you are enabling the secrecy even more. We are requesting for these books to be to allow the parents a period of 30 days to review these books, and you're siding with the wrong side on this. Yes, guys, it is worrisome. It is. Cheese fell off the cracker. Cheese fell off the cracker. And if he cannot see the importance in this, that we are requesting for transparency and we are fighting for transparency, and decided to flip us off, that's fine. That's fine. Because hopefully, and I hate saying it, because I have no ill feelings towards him, I really don't. But we got to do what we got to do. Hopefully, when his term is up, we'll have enough sense not to vote him in and to vote somebody in that actually stands for transparency, that will actually listen to the parents, that will actually show concern for these parents and and show concern for these children, okay, and they will not enable an already tainted and compromised administration and administrator. He will not enable them to continue to keep secrets okay, from the parents and continue to bring pornographic trash into our school and enable them to continue to bring social emotional learning, DEI, critical race theory, because this little comment that Guy Sway made today about critical race theory, that was foolish. That was a lie because he know that critical race theory is all over the Westfield School District. Okay, so we need parents. We need to really um, stop looking, considering who we're putting in these seats. It's not only vote for me because I believe in transparency, vote for me because I believe in parental rights, vote for me because I believe in parents' choice. It's not just about that. It's not you talking like a politician. And if you're going to have a talk and you're going to promise all this stuff and you don't have to walk, we don't need to do business with you anymore. So today was a big disappointment, a big disappointment when it comes to Mr. Britton. We already know that we have been disgusted to the high heavens when it comes to Tostos. We have been asking for him to be put on probation. I mean, just look at the rankings, look at the scores. Anybody who says that's good doesn't have two peas for a brain. It's not. It's not. And then to try to make it look and applaud that we're the lead dummies, on this average, we're the lead dummies. Ah! We need to bring back classical educations to our schools. We need to bring back scholastic excellence. We need to prepare these kids for the future because they are not prepared. And part of the reason is because of this administrator that we have and this administration that they are under. The last thing that we need is when parents are fighting for transparency to have a board member, whether on the right or the left, try to shoot the parents' efforts down. That's not acceptable. And I said it once and I'll say it again. It's time to clean up the West Shore School District. And this cleanup process, it's going to take some time. Unlike Donald Trump, we don't have the authority like he does to write executive orders. And if it ever comes down the pipe that we do, you can use my pen. I'll write it for you. But we don't have that. We don't have that option. Okay, because we're not the president of the United States. But decisions like today, it's worrisome. And it's something that I want you guys today to write into your agendas. And do not forget today. Um, we will continue to fight for transparency. We will continue to push the envelope. If we have to vote people out, we will vote people out. We will continue to vote people in until we find the correct dynamics that is going to clean up the West Shore School District, turn a failing school district into a winning school district, and bring scholastic excellence back to the West Shore. So, Mr. Brinton, you were a disappointment today. You have voted to enable further secrecy in the West Shore School District. You decided to shoot down the voice of the parents today. That being stated, to answer your question, at what point do we trust administration? We, the parents, say never. Never. And we will continue to push until Tastos is replaced with somebody who is efficient, somebody who is qualified, somebody whose heart is the children, and somebody who will work to make our children successful in the future, work at their maximum capacity, and shine with the ability God has given them. So, this is Mariana sounding off, and parents, don't let his decision deter you. It should make you more determined to move forward and continue to fight for transparency. God bless.